Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Skool Morning Show. It is a Monday, and it feels like a Monday, and it smells like a Monday, and it tastes, well, I don't know if it tastes like a Monday, but it's definitely a Monday. How are you?
Ah, it's a Monday. It's totally a Monday.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
about 30 minutes late. Our coffee has not kicked in yet, and we're scrambling, just like these nice eggs. But it's going to be a good show.
Yes, it is. Oh yeah, I even have the wrong banner on. Totally a Monday.
It is.
March is almost over. How are
I
you
can't.
feeling that we're like literally a day or two away from April?
I don't like it.
Quarter one is over.
I most years I just try to block out quarter one. I can never ever get anything done in quarter one ever. So I'm looking forward to quarter two actually.
Nice. We already have a comment. Which
What?
I think this is just how today's going to be. We're going to be talking about like a lot of different things, mostly about school games and like if you're trying to go for it, how to come up with your target number. But also just prepare yourself. It's going to be,
It's gonna be one of those days.
yeah,
Arden says, "How do you like your eggs?" Okay. So funny story. Can I talk about eggs for a moment?
yes.
Um,
But can you make
so
this smaller so it's less blurred out on the big
I
screen?
shall.
Thank you.
Here's how I like my eggs. What's funny is I made my eggs exactly like Gordon Ramsay, but I didn't know that I made my eggs like Gordon Ramsay until way later. And I saw a video of him making eggs, and I'm like, holy crap, that's how I make eggs. And I realized that I could be a chef, except all I know how to make is eggs.
You could have just a completely like an egg restaurant.
Yeah, just we'll call it, I don't know what's a good egg name for a restaurant.
So there is a restaurant already named this, but it was one of my favorite places. I think it's called Expectations. So it's like egg expectations,
I love
and
that.
you there's egg like you have the option to put egg on anything they make, and it was really cool.
That's a great
You could
idea.
call yours excellent.
Excellent. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Wendy's is here with her coffee as well, so we're trying to we're trying to make it here.
Yes. Good morning, Wendy. All right. So how was your weekend? As we're getting started, we'll go into the
Um,
school games recap in a minute.
it was a little bit like this. Yeah, it was a little bit like that.
Nice.
How about you?
Well, at one point during this weekend, I had a peach tree in my car and 25 goldfish.
A peach
So,
tree,
yeah.
like a literal tree.
Yes, we're working on getting the garden going, and then also the orchard. We've been working on for the last few years on like the soil and trying to get fencing up so that deer don't eat the trees because as when they're like small trees they'll be really attractive to animals and wildlife. So that
That
was
makes
what we were
sense.
doing. We got the fence, we got a little fenced up area where deer hopefully won't jump in, and then we also have like this stock tank that we collect rainwater with for the garden. And we heard that you can put goldfish in there, so I took my son to the store. We bought 25 goldfish. The guy looked at me like I was crazy. And then my son's like, Do your kids ever go in this phase of like wanting to name something like the same name? Like
Oh yeah,
everything's the same name?
yeah.
Okay. So right before my son turned 4, he was naming everything Charlie. He gets like a stuffed animal. He gets anything like you ask him, what are you going to name it? It's Charlie. And so he named all 25 of them Charlie. They're all named the same. And so that's what my weekend looked like, was going down the road with a tree and 25 goldfish in the car.
Well, I mean, if something happens to Charlie number one, you got 24 backups, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you know which Charlie's missing? You know? They're all Charlie. All right, well, let's get into. Did you watch the ending of like the school games, quarter one?
Kind of. I was kind of looking at it. I wasn't home at all when that was happening, But I did see where our friend Victoria won, and I'm so freaking excited for
Woohoo!
her. She put in a lot of work to win that in the spirituality category, and yeah, I'm excited for her. She deserves it for sure.
Yeah, that was awesome. I know there's so many times where you're just like you're looking at it, and she had a she also had like a live summit going on at the very end of school games, which is like,
That's a
wow, you're
gamble.
doing a lot. Yeah. And so she was announcing people to come up on for like the next speaker as she was ending her school games. And that's when she found out she won too. So that to me, I'm be like, it's gonna be loud live summit if I'm winning school games,
Yeah.
you know? So that was really cool. I'm
But
glad she
if you
got to
guys
do that.
if you want to hear, we did a podcast with her. It came out last week, and this was actually several weeks ago. So this is when she was not even was she even on the board yet? I don't think she was like number 7 or something when we did that interview, and she was already
Yeah.
like claiming, "Yes, I'm going to win the school games." And so that was kind of a gamble too, because she was saying all in, "I'm going to win the school games," and it's like, okay, you're not even on the board yet. But I believed her, and she did it. So go back and listen to that. She got a lot of good advice.
Yeah, I'll pop my screen up real quick if you can let me share it, and you guys, I'll show you what it looks like on the channel. Entire screen, share. So it's this one right here.
Yep.
So we did this. We did this about like 3 or 4 weeks before we released it.
Yeah.
So
It's been a while.
yeah, it was pretty cool to talk to her. Know that she was like very determined, which was it's good, right? Does manifestation,
Yeah.
so
You would
that
hope
makes
that
sense.
you would hope the money manifestation person wins if that's what they're teaching, and she did. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. Well, we will get into the recap. So I know I made a post in my community sharing the recap, but let's go into Schoolers. So I'm going to share that screen real quick.
okay, sounds good. See who all won.
Doo-doo. There was one person that I didn't know about until like right before, and I really wanted them to win. Like so much so that my mom had to hear all about it. Because they visited this weekend, and I was like, "Mom, I don't know what to do. I want this person to win." And she's like, "Just know they'll be okay. They'll win." I'm like, "All right, fine." So in the hobbies category, so if you don't know this already, there's 9 categories, and there's 5 winners for each category, which is way better than the past one.
That's a lot
Way
of
of doing
people to
it.
fly out. They're gonna fly out all of these people.
That's 45 people.
That's expensive.
Yep. But it's worth it. It's like just once a quarter, and then it's really fun from all the pictures we get to see in the events and stuff.
Yeah.
We have in hobbies, we have Megan. She won with 10K MRR growth. I'm just going to go over the top one for each one because otherwise we could just be here a long time. We have Finbar, and he made a really cool post inside Schoolers. So if you're inside Schoolers, go look at Finbar's post. He even included like a little video of him waiting to win, and that was awesome. And he ended with 7,000. And then we have Matt Ryder. Now, when Matt Ryder joined, he didn't. It was like it's not that long ago. We'll look at his account.
Oh yeah, he's
So,
only been here a few months.
and this is when he started getting like really active. I remember back in January seeing one of his first posts, and let's go. We'll look at his post real quick.
Special Forces sniper. Wow.
Yeah, this one was cool to watch.
It's
He's
always
like finally
really
launching school soon. That was
It's inter-
January 27th.
it's always interesting when you see someone come in and win the school games after they've been here like just like a month or two.
Right?
Just to
It's
see
pretty
that it's
impressive.
possible, that it's possible that anybody can do it.
Yeah, I remember he didn't have the rocket yet when he posted this, and I was like, "Dang!" I was like, "He's not gonna just have a rocket. He's gonna have a crown by the end of this because he was growing really fast."
And he did.
But he ended up, and it was cool as these people were climbing the ranks. He saw them climbing the ranks, and he knew that he wanted to win number 1, so he really kicked it into gear and like that's where this like 7,000 came from.
Wow.
In
That money
fact,
category is hard because you have to make 40, 50,000 to make the top five, which is crazy.
in fact, I'm gonna give a shout out to Arton. Um, he's even predicting the crown. That's cool. Arton actually has been talking to Matt a lot about school games or just like different things, and he gave him a strategy towards the end, which really helped with securing that number one spot, which was cool.
That's cool. I want to hear what that is. Arton, spill the
Yeah.
beans.
Yeah, Arton spill the beans, or we're going to be talking to him tomorrow about onboarding, so maybe he'll spill it then. In spirituality, this is where we have Victoria.
Yes.
And she really kicked it into gear too. Look at that, 4,000 growth.
Yeah, she hit 10K.
Samuel Lee ended up with 21K, and then Daniel's
Wow.
son.
Damn, Daniel.
Yeah,
Back at it again.
with the white fans. Yeah, with 122K MR. That is
Could you imagine?
crazy.
Could you imagine hitting six-figure months like that? That is wild.
pretty cool. And then Oscar with his looks maxing, he just keeps crushing it with 59K. And then we have Dreeny. Is that how you would say it?
Yeah, Trini.
Dreeny.
And a
with
lot of these
8,000.
are not even like in English, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we have Jack with 46 with self-improvement. That's pretty cool. And then I don't know if you remember this, but Rob Dow or Dial, however you say it, he's the one that Marianne would talk about his books for Power Hour when we
That's
did the
right.
calendar stuff.
That's
She
right. That's why it
brought him
sounds
up all
familiar.
the time. Yeah.
That's cool that he's on School now.
Yeah, and he won school games, which is really cool. I think Dr. Steven has been helping him
Okay.
from the,
And then here is the category that had so much drama, the relationships.
yes, the relationship one. But the cool thing when we're looking at it is that all of these are relationships. Like
Right.
what school meant relationships to be for, that's who won, and that to me is really really cool because
It's not people teaching people how to make money on School and pretending to be relationships.
or not even just pretending, but like also not understanding that like business collaborations are still like business, you know.
Because what's the end goal? To make money? Goes in money.
Yep. And so it was good to see that these guys actually got a chance. And that was what I was more concerned about too. It's like I really like it wasn't necessarily about the whole understanding the definition of collabs, you know, or collaborations, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's
Because
the
that's
people that
pretty
got
much what
kicked
all of
out.
them were doing, networking and all that. It's like it wasn't about that. It was about these people are like genuinely doing relationship stuff, and I really wanted to see them get a chance versus the people that could have been in any of these other categories, you know.
Yep.
So
Victoria just
Anyways,
commented.
that's the
Victoria's watching. Congrats again, Victoria. You're amazing.
Victoria, yeah, that was really cool. She really did kick it into gear with that final 10K, because we had talked about, I remember the original number was 8,500 to look at, but I'm going to come back and stop sharing screen so we can just chat. But it was getting pretty close. Like, how close was it really when we were looking at it?
It was like within a couple of $100 at one point.
Yeah, there was some that were pretty down to the wire. And then it was almost like down to the wire for the day before, but then right before the ending of games, it felt like it was more of a they just secured it. They like that last little bit, because like when you look at hobbies, the difference between number 5 and 6 is number 5 was like 9,000 and then number 6 was 7,000. And but the ones that were still pretty close were like music and I think there was one other one that got music, and then health was also pretty close. And then sports.
Matthew just asked how we felt the new Discovery shakeup changed the games. It's for the best. I mean, it's like we said. It's. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
if they hadn't have done it, there was people who deserved to win wouldn't have, and ultimately, that's the most fair thing to do.
Yeah. What actually like so there was the interesting thing is that a lot of times people don't realize this, but they'll if they're in a category and they're getting looked at and like is what's the outcome? Like what's the outcome of what they're saying that their community is for? And people will report stuff. It's like one person will be in one category and then the other person will be in the same category, and they're like, well, why is this person allowed here? And it's like their competition. And so I don't, thankfully I don't have to deal with the category stuff. I'm not the human in the loop, by the way.
That's not your side of the of the modding.
Yeah. Thank goodness. But they have to go hear back and forth from people about like the questions of like who's in what category and is that category right? And a lot of times that's when the times that those get reported or get looked at are when they start reaching things like the star or they're running for games. But yeah, I think the shakeup was needed. It wasn't fun, right? Nobody had fun. Nobody. It wasn't about that.
I do wish it would have got caught a little bit earlier. But it is what it is. What it is.
And I think that something we've talked about and heard behind the scenes is that they've decided there's like going to be a new way and new standard of how to make those adjustments a lot more smoothly. And so that's like just for anybody to hear is those adjustments you can do it one way and it still be the right thing, but you can still learn from the feedback and the reactions and all of that on in the future what kind of changes do you need to make so that it isn't so shake uppy.
Yeah. And if you think about it, the school games are still pretty new in like the grand scheme of things, and it's already changed a good bit, since the beginning of it, and it's going to probably continue to change even more.
Yeah, this is just the second year, right?
Yeah.
Or
I think so.
Or is it the
It might be the third. It's the third year.
Third year. This is the first year. No. No, the second year of it being played this way. That's what I meant to say. So 2024 it was played one way. 2025 it's been played in the quarterly way. And then now we're in the second year of it being played quarterly.
Yeah. I think this is the better way to go.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to compete with all these money people.
Yeah, it's like how would you, or tech, tech was even higher than money this time.
If you make a tech community about money, you're just guaranteed to win. AI, I'm going to call it AI cash.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Jesse brought up something for real. The Season of Madness. That one was mad. It was crazy.
Didn't somebody win 2 Teslas at one point?
I think that he was wanting to.
Okay, I thought he did win.
I think Katron was wanting to win 2 Teslas, and then he didn't win the second Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
I was really rooting for Evelyn.
Yeah. I think Evelyn was it was so crazy. People were, because the way the games were played back then, it was not
Everybody's
healthy.
just pumping ads. They were just pumping ads as hard as humanly possible. I don't even know if they were even making money.
Getting on so many calls, man. Like so many calls. This way is more sustainable. Like you're doing it over 3 months, and that's how it should be. Like if we're really talking community, because if this was just some like funnel hustle bro thing, and it was like you're doing landing pages or whatever, and you're just giving out classrooms, that would make sense.
Right.
But that's not community.
And doing it by month, you get the pump and dumps where people end up leaving right after the school games.
Yeah, Max looks so tired. They did was anyone else there live watching them do the 24-hour call at the very end? I stayed on for most of it. I don't know why I stayed on there. It's like I
It's like
also could have been doing other things, but I was like just so hyped for them that
it's
I
also like looking at like a train wreck or something. You just
yeah,
can't look away.
people were crying. Avatar Dan was crying, and it was a lot. So I have a question. Would you go for school games? And anybody else watching, I would love to hear your answer too. Would
I
you go for it?
me personally, yeah, I would. Um, I would if I had like the right offer. That's the only thing. Yeah, if I felt like I had something to give, then I would. But I'm not gonna just go for it just because. Like I feel like there'd have to be a better reason.
Better
You know what I mean?
reason.
Yeah.
And when you mean better reason, is that meaning like for your offer is like it's helping people
Yeah, like it's helping
in a
people
certain
because
way, not just
like
getting
thinking about
numbers?
going, yeah, just getting numbers and like just making it to school games is like that mindset feels a little selfish. But if I was to go about it like, oh, I want to win because that means I get to help more people, and then I just happen to win, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good way outlook for it is like if your offer helps people and gets some results, like you're actually offering something that has value to it. And then on top of it, you're like part of my reason for going to school games is I want to get connect with more people, I want to network, I want the visibility, I want all these things so that I can help more people with the same offer. That makes sense to
Hmm.
me.
Yeah, Jennifer, when they did their official launch, did a 12-hour live too. Oof, that's intense.
Whew, that is long.
Yeah, I think the longest lap I've ever done is probably 4 hours, and by the end I was whooped. So I can imagine doing 12. That's crazy. Matthew says when he wins, he'll do it by accident. That's kind of how I feel too. Like if I'll just accidentally win.
There's been times where, because for me personally, um, there's been times I thought about winning, and part of it was, I know, like me and you talked about making something where we could have competed with
Hmm.
the way, kind of almost to prove a point that the categories were in the wrong way,
Hmm.
and we could have won. But for me, beyond that, I don't want to win because I don't want to take a spot since I'm not going to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Thought donor thinks it would be great to compete in the games, especially if you're a long-term player in school and helping to build communities. Yeah, and I think that has to do with like having the right mindset. It's like, yeah, I'm here not just to win the school games for the month. I'm here for the next several years, and I don't want to pump and dump just because.
yeah, and I think another part is like an important piece is do you want to go hang out with other schoolers that are in the same kind of like mindset as you and go meet Sam and the whole team, meet
Yeah,
Alex.
that would be cool. I'm not a huge traveler, so I'm not like super excited about that part. But this having the title, like, oh, I won school games, I think does help you though, because how many people on school do you know that literally use that as like their biggest clout to like it's like their biggest proof. It's like I help school games, let me help you. Like there's tons of people on here that do that.
And see, I think that's part of like, and I don't think anybody's to blame for the whole category issue. I think that was part of like why school needed to define category, like the relationship category a little bit better. Because there are a lot of people that want that I won school games thing. And you
Hmm.
saw that based on like previously how games were played. There were people that cheated the affiliate side of it just so that they could say they're school game winners, right?
Yeah.
Started a bunch of communities just for the affiliate and then dropped them all. Like now there's more rules in place and they had to learn it by putting it out there and then seeing how people would react.
Yeah.
And then yeah, when it makes sense that people would game things if it's gamified.
Thought donor says it'd be interesting to see if the IRLs take some of that meeting people energy. That's possible. I mean, there does seem to be a lot more IRLs being planned right now than I've ever seen. So yeah, very, very, very true. I think
There
that's going to be a
are
big thing.
maybe we'll maybe I'll see if I can reach out to Calvin to have him on sometime because Calvin is going to be the one that is like really helpful to school. Like he's part of the school team now to help people with like the German market, but also with in real life stuff. And he created a whole like I guess it would be like the SOPs for in real life if they're going to be
That's cool.
if they're going to be inside schoolers or posted in schoolers, they have to meet these criteria because you wouldn't want like an in real life event to be like a pitch fest or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have two people on this week that are big into IRLs. Arton just made a new school for IRL communities for Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes, James. I recognized the family photo. I was thinking, this is the board game guy. He likes board games.
Who doesn't
So-
like board games? I love board games.
Board games are awesome. One of the things that I wanted to mention. So, if you would go for school games, I think part of what we could do today, because school games Q2 starts April 1st at 10 a.m. PST. So that's for our time. It's going to be at 12. So noon on April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not an April Fool's joke.
It
just to
might be.
clear.
It might. We don't know for sure.
One thing that I have noticed is like make sure if you're brand new and you don't have any MRR yet, make sure you at least like get somebody join for $1 so that because I think you have to have like your first you have to since it's new MRR growth, you have to have MRR growth to begin with. So if you were putting your offer out at like $100 and you need $100 to count each time, then make sure you have like your mom or something join for $1 MRR at the very beginning
Wait,
so that your first one counts.
Explain that again. Wow. Okay. So like before it actually starts.
Yes.
So
At any
if,
time, just get somebody to join for $1 a month MRR.
so if you don't, then none of them will count. Is that what? You're
No, it's your first one won't count
saying? Oh.
because it's not
okay.
new MRR growth.
So that would be $100 wasted, basically.
Right. So just get somebody
Oh.
to join for the $1 thing.
That's really interesting. That's good to know.
It was some people learn that to be to happen at the very beginning and they're like, why am I not on the board yet? Why is there not 100 MRR? Oh,
Because it has
Yeah.
to be new MRR.
new MRR growth.
Wow. Hey, there's
Do you
your
know-
little golden nugget for you guys right there.
Yeah, very true. Do you know anybody that's going to be going for Q2? Anybody that maybe already won?
Because you can win multiple times, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't
We
know
had
anyone.
Nate. My favorite, like, so it's not necessarily about the offer or whatever, but my favorite person that has been winning school games was Nate Herc last year. Now, he
Yes.
didn't go for it this year, which I'm like, cool. He's still doing really good. Like, that's not it's not a diss to him or anything because
He's
kept
making
it.
cash
He's still,
hand over bucket. Like he is making so much money.
yeah, he's still number one on all time for tech, right? He's still at 219,000 a month. So, but it's just not new because it's the whole new MRR growth that can like really, it's not past MRR growth. It has to be new stuff coming
Well, that's
in.
good though because it keeps it fair. That way, the same person isn't just using that same MRR to win over and over and over.
Right. It would be really cool to see somebody else from this year. So now that Q1 has already happened, like which person from Q1 that has won is going to try to get all quarters.
Well, let's go, Victoria. You got this.
Yeah. Victoria, our money is on you now. So do you anybody in the chat know somebody that's going to be going for quarter games too? Let
There's
us know.
So many people that have just been so focused on this one. I haven't even heard anyone mention Q2.
Yeah. I've heard now this is where my memory comes into play because I can't remember who said it, but they were like, I'm not going to go for Q1 because it feels like too much pressure. But they were planning for Q2. So
I think that might have been
is-
Marianne. Maybe.
Maybe.
I remember
don't
she
know.
did mention it at one point. I don't know if she changed her mind.
That would
Lucas Schmidt going for yeah, I think I did see where he was going to try to go for Q2. That's what Matthew just said. Seems like I do remember that.
One thing I do know is with some of the stuff that came out with the whole category change, I just want to bring this up. Unfortunately, when you were making your thing, and Victoria can vouch for this, right? Because she had to change her about page and stuff so she didn't get moved out of spirituality. So when we did our episode on with her, she was talking a lot about money, because her community was about money manifestation, but it was going to get moved to the money category because the outcome is money.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what some other people were doing inside, and they were being sneaky with it, where it was like, hey, you will join this, and this community is about, we'll just, because it's already the one that's been talked about the most, is like they talked about, well, this community is about relationships, but their tiers inside of their community were actually for their other communities that were about something else.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them were money related. So that's what ended up bringing up a lot of it to light. And
I think you're going to see it again, but for self-improvement this go around.
Well, I do know that the categories are going to be looked at a lot in the upcoming days.
Yeah.
But they're going to be done in a different way than it was previously. So
Interesting.
ultimately, it's like when you think about it, it's like, what is the outcome that your offer is, and make sure that your offer is not like you're not trying to do anything in the background that's like, oh, we're going to help you get a job, and that has to do with relationships or
Right.
you know.
Right.
Even with self-improvement, it's like self-improvement is one of those categories where I'm just like, is it really even necessary? Because you could improve in your health, and that's self-improvement. You could improve in your sports, that's self-improvement. You can improve in money, and that's self-improvement. You know, it's like such a gray area.
It is. Yeah, but let me pull up this comment from Matthew. It's really funny. If only they would make AI its own category.
Right.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, that would probably help a lot for the tech.
Yeah, I think that because of some upcoming things that have not been spoken about, I don't think that there'll be necessarily new categories, but I think it'll be way more clear. There's some super cool stuff coming out soon, so make sure that you stay on top of school news too.
So if I made a school about how to get an AI girlfriend, do you think that would be tech or relationships?
I think we'd put you in the mental health category.
Yeah.
You know, I think that still would be underneath tech.
Debatable.
Or Sam would ban you from the platform.
Yeah, right.
Because he's not an AI fan like that. It's like, get out of here.
You know, I joke, but that is a thing that people are doing.
I know. Just like people, like so many people doing their taxes with like AI, there's been people call them, and this is not to any one person. I never mention something that's only like if one person has mentioned it to me, I never mention it. If I've had 5 or 6 people say it, then I say something. And there's people that call ChatGPT their therapist, their best friend, their like it's boyfriend or girlfriend. It's cool. I'm like, oh, this is not. I don't know how this is going to be going. But let's get to something that's like
Okay.
way more valuable, you know?
Let's give the people some value.
Yeah. So, well, how do you define value?
That's a good question. Something that helps someone with something?
Something that helps someone with something.
As vague as possible.
As vague as possible. That's the real value. Is the value in the vagueness?
I think it's more valuable to get to ask someone a question and let them answer it themselves than to tell them the answer.
Okay, so what is vague and what is value? That's where we're at now. All right, so we titled this one Your School Games Target Number or Numbers, because one of the things that I did when Victoria was going to win is I sent her like a little loom. And this is our breaking news, so if you want to do our breaking news sound bit.
Breaking news!
Yeah. All right, so something that I had sent over to Victoria when we were looking at whether or not she was going to hit the numbers to win because it was getting kind of close. is I told her this is how I look at the numbers on the boards and how I come up with the amount that you need to aim for. So like if you're going for school games, let's say Eric, you want to go for Q2, then this is what I would want you to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen
Okay.
so that we can go into this real quick.
All right.
Let me make sure I don't have a whole bunch of things up.
We have
'Cause
to
it's
share
like,
the secret formula.
Yes, the secret formula. We'll do that in just a bit. All right, share screen, entire screen. So, if we are looking at over here, the hobbies category, let's just go with hobbies for fun. I'm going to look at all of these numbers. Now, this round was like pretty high for most of them. But I'm going to go back to Q1 2025. So now I know a lot of people will go like, "Oh, this is the number that you have to get." Well, I actually want to look at like these higher numbers. I always estimate it off of number 3 because if you're looking at number 3, this is going to be closer to in case it does get competitive. I never really look at number 1 and sometimes not even number 2 as like my target numbers because I feel like those are, I don't know, the unicorns, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like number 3 is usually where you can be closer in your estimate. So that was 8, 9. This is 11, 5. So then we have 10, 1. This is down to 7. And then this is back to 10. So what I would say is like if you're aiming for about 10K, then you should be good. Like you should be able to be past the 4th and 5th place. And so if we go back again, does 10K cover here? It does. So far, there's not one of the quarters where you would not win without 10K. So that's how I come up with my target number. If you're just trying to win. Like if you're trying to go for the top, that's a whole different formula. Okay. That's a whole different thing that you're looking at. And then which one do you want to do? Let's see. I think we have a banner. What category is everyone in? Let's just pick a different category that we could look at. So now we know like 10Ks for hobbies.
Yeah, I would say Jennifer said she's starting a new one. They put her in spirituality, but that didn't fit. So now she's in self-improvement. So you want to check out that one?
Yes. Okay, so self-improvement, we're going to go back to Q1. Okay, so we have 10K here. We got 8K. And we got 11. And then we have 12 down here, and this is 20. Gotcha. And then Q1 was 18. So now one thing that is really interesting to look at is that self-improvement is going to be more competitive now. So that was a high jump.
Yeah, it was.
So if this was to happen, so like we saw down here, these 3 quarters were kind of low, but because Q4 hit 20K for up here, and then Q1 is 18K, you're going to want to, this could go just as high this next round, right?
It could, yeah.
Now that people are going, and here's the other thing, like there are growth operators that are like, well, I want to go get somebody and bring them onto the platform, and I'm gonna find somebody for hobbies, or I'm gonna look for somebody in the health or self-improvement, and then they have like a team helping them behind the scenes, like Rob, he has Dr. Steven helping him. So what I would say is, let's go back. So Q4, you had to at least have 12K. At least 13K here. I'm gonna just go back and check. I would say if you went for 15K, you should be fine. Because that would cover these two on both of them.
Self-improvement, that's a tight category.
So,
unfortunately, our friend Matthew Burns is in tech.
Oh, snap. All right. So we got 55 for number 3. And something that I'm doing as I'm looking at these is I'm making sure that 55 would cover, as I'm saying it, I'm going to be looking at this bottom number too. Like, will it cover both of these? So 55, 38 would, 55 would still cover it. So somewhere between 38 and 55. 29. Dang. 69.
Yeah, that Q1
Yeah.
they would go hard, don't they?
Yeah, they go hard. Well, and then also it's like they've taken a whole year to strategize. So this Q2 could look totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd still have to aim for about 55K to secure it for sure.
Wow.
Because 55 would cover every single one of these.
Yeah.
And because it's like, even though there's some low ones, there's this high one, this most recent high one, and you don't know if any of these are now going to just take a good chunk of this and then reinvest it to maybe pull off a Nate Herc, right?
Matthew
Did
Burns
the
says he's
four
got
games.
this. I believe that you got this. I believe
yeah.
you could win. Do we want to do one more?
Mm-hmm.
Our friend, the tallest moderator, Jesse, is in health.
Okay. So we're going to come to quarter one. Got 8 here. I'm going to actually call this more like 9. So 9. 9 would cover this, but now we're at 12. 9 would not cover this. So if we have 12, 13, you're probably looking at like 11 or 12. So it's just it's increasing as we go. Oscar won quarter 4 too. On top of quarter 5
Nice work.
or quarter 1. Okay. So let's go back real quick. I'm going to just quickly, because if this is where we're going, you just see like a natural increase.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 7 at the bottom. You have 8. You have 9, 11, 13. So it's only going higher. If I was talking to somebody about winning in health, then I would tell them they need to aim for about 15K, because that's going to cover this and pretty much all the other ones too.
Okay, so that's how you get your target number there for winning
Yes.
school games.
Like, this is, and I'm looking at it from a standpoint of like, if I wanted to go out there and growth operate somebody, this is what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to be looking at these numbers in this way. This is actually the one that I heard about probably like 2 days before the end of school games, and I'm so happy she won. She shared a really amazing story. If you are in there, in Schoolers, that you can go back and look at.
Is she the one that was going live on YouTube?
Yes, she was
Yeah.
going live. And then if you read this, she gave a lot of details about like all the things that have happened in her life.
Yeah, I'm really happy she won also, because she was doing podcasts, going live, doing YouTube, and doing everything that I say to do. So it may feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom was like, I read my mom this post over here. I was like, well, I want her to win so bad. And she was like, okay, just believe it'll happen. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Because I was thinking of like different things that I could do. And I'm like, oh, no, she's got this. She's got this. But that was down to the wire. So let's go over the formula real quick. I'm going to exit out of here.
The secret formula.
Once you have the target number, what do you do with that number, right? So this is what I would call the formula. You take that target MRR that we just went over and you divide it by 100, because only 100 MMR per member is what counts.
Yeah. So if you charge 101, it's only going to count for 100.
Right. Or if you were charging 300 or whatever, only like per member, it's 100 MRR new growth.
Which is
right?
why you see so many people going for the school games. Their community costs $100, which is why.
Right. And if that doesn't make sense to you, or something about school games doesn't make sense, if you really want to make sure you understand the numbers, go watch Mark's school video on school games. I have posted it inside What is School, underneath that post about the Q1 is over. And so go watch that video. It's really, I don't know how he does it, but he makes his videos so compact. So
He
it's
does.
4 minutes and 18 seconds, and it's like the best video to understand how school games numbers work. Okay.
Agreed.
So the formula is the target numbers equals target MRR divided by 100. So let's go with, well, we'll do the actual guess, but let's just talk about the formula first. The conversion rate tells you how many people you need to reach to get those numbers. So once you know the amount of members, and you go look up what your conversion rate is. And thankfully, now that we have traffic sources, you can go look up what your conversion rate is.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing to keep in mind is if you're brand new and you haven't started your paid offer yet, you do not know this number.
Right.
You cannot base your conversion rate off of a free community, because free is going to convert way higher
Yeah,
than
it's
a
way
paid
inflated.
is.
Way inflated.
Mm-hmm. And so to give like an easier estimate, I went, when we show you like just the breakdown, is we're going to go with 2%. But so when you take your target members and then you I think it's like divided by like the conversion rate, that'll tell you how many people you need to get on your about page, like how much traffic you need to get on your about page. So then you can look at like how much traffic am I currently getting with this conversion rate, and what how much effort am I putting into it? Like where do I need to beef up on my traffic sources, right? And this is about like doing this in a way where you're not just using people's names or their connections to win, right? Because there's a bunch of different ways that you can play the games, and some people will just like use their connections and they do the affiliate, the networking thing, doing workshops or other stuff like that. They'll talk to their, or they hire somebody, right? They hire somebody as their coach and they're like, hey, will you announce inside your community that I'm going for games, and make it like a whole post about it? That happens too. Then you have your other friends that are already in your community. They understand school games and then they go share it with people. So that's different. I want you to focus on this though, because getting outside traffic is where you can like make sure that actually happens, because the other way is a total gamble, right?
Yeah. And knowing your numbers like this just makes it a lot easier, giving yourself more of a goal.
Right. And so let's go with, we're going to say that the target MRR is 10K and your conversion rate is 2%. So if your goal is to get 100 members, because remember it's the 10,000 divided by 100, so that gives you 100 members. If your conversion rate is 2%, you would need to have 5,000 visitors to your about page. Like you need 5,000 people to your about page, to your school link, so that you would hit your goal of 10,000 to win in, I think it was hobbies was the 10K.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you know,
that's
in order
how
to,
the formula works.
If you want to get third place, you know you need to hit $10,000, and if you're charging $100, because you have to charge $100, that's the max. Just divide that $10,000 by the 100. That means you need to get 100 members in order to win. But if your conversion rate's only 2%, then that means you need to get at least 5,000 people hitting that about page. You need 5,000 leads. And so that gives you like a rough idea of how hard you need to go on like YouTube and ads and all that stuff.
Right. And something that I wanted to bring up here too, and the reason why we did it this way to show, is because like for me, I'm a visual learner, and Eric, you said you're a visual learner too.
Very much so, yeah.
So, and this is good for anybody out there trying to create like their content. So let's say, go back to the other picture.
Sure. Bonk.
Let's say we had a school community that's teaching how to win school games. As an owner, if this is what I put in there, but I found out that all my people were visual learners, I would have to put the second image in. I would have to go and give them the example, right?
Yeah.
But let's say there's a school games community and you're wanting to go learn school games. You join it and you see something like this and you're like, what the hell does this mean? Right?
Yeah.
take a picture of this and then go throw it into any AI and say, ask me the questions that I would need to answer in order to get the result. Okay? Because now AI can take like the confusing stuff that they put out there, and it will help you. Just say, ask me the right questions and I'll answer them, and then you help me fill out the formula. Because you don't have to make this hard or difficult on yourself or get frustrated. Yes, you could ask inside the community, you could make a post about it, or you could go figure it out for yourself and then post about it in the community and say, hey, I took the formula, I went and asked AI to ask me questions. These are the questions that I asked me, and then this is how we got to the answer. Because then you also added value to that community too, right?
Absolutely.
And as an owner, if you see somebody do that, then come up and like add the second photo. Eric, if you want to share that. Make something like this so that people can understand what you're talking about. Because remember, clarity is really, really important.
Yeah. Well, when you were explaining it to me before we got on, and I truly wasn't following it until I saw this picture. And I'm like, okay, this all makes sense now.
Yeah. So is there anybody that when we were walking through those, you found out what your target number is?
We do got a question about that, actually.
Okay.
From Jennifer, clarifying that is only if you charge $100. For those that only charge 20, the formula would be target MR divided by 20. So it would change those numbers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. That is correct. In fact, that's something that I could change for that. So, I would say the best, if you're going to go for games, right? Even if you're used to charging only 20, come up with a higher offer, right?
Yeah.
Come up with a VIP, do tiers, come up with something that's worth 100, even if it's for like, hey, for the next 6 months, we're going to do like a special group call for something, right?
Yeah.
That is exclusive to, and it's only available during this time to join. Or it could end up becoming like, you're like, oh, I really like this offer. But come up with something that is 100 so that you can maximize your your potential for getting towards school games, right?
It'll 5x it.
Yeah. You could just continue to charge 20 for even the entry if you want it for like the easier like the barrier to entry, but then have that tier, because when they upgrade, then that upgrade still counts towards the MRR.
And that's kind of what Victoria did. She had like a cheaper basic, for her school community, but then she had her premium and her VIP that were a lot higher.
Yeah, so something for Victoria's is she had her community is $9 a month. So people are joining in at $9 a month. But then when you get inside, she has the ability to go up the tiers. And then she has a 49, and then I think it's $197 a month. I think it was 99 for while she was doing school games. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask her, but
and tiers might make your conversion rate a little wonky too, possibly.
Well, I think if you have tiers, I don't think it would mess up too much of your conversion rate, because you're getting people in at a lower conversion.
True.
Yeah. It would just be it would change the conversion rate from people on the low tier to the higher tier. Yeah. That would be something cool to ask for.
That would be cool. I was just thinking that if we could see like a conversion rate for people who upgrade.
Yeah, that would be cool. Incoming feature request,
Yeah. That was really good. Thank you so much for teaching us all that. That was value. We're talking about what is value. That was value.
Yeah. You're welcome. And in fact, if there's more questions that come along that, or if inside What is School, I made that post and I said, like, what would you do, or like what would your offer be? Throw your offer out there. If you end up looking at all this and creating your number, go in there and throw what you think you would, like, if you wanted to win school games Q2, what would you do? Why would somebody join your community? What would make them keep paying $100 a month? Because remember, you have to get people paying $100 a month and actually continue to stay. Because that's something else that you could add to the formula too. Like, we didn't want to make it too complicated for this, but you also have to look at, like, what is your churn?
Yeah, that's because what is it? 3 months that they have to stay? Or
Yes.
yeah. I'm curious what Jennifer would say, what she would offer for $100. That would be better than her $20 one. Maybe you can think about that and let us know.
Yep. And some people will do like certain I think the easiest go-to thing is like more access to you. But which is why people like offer like one-on-ones or something like that just so they can win the school games. I think something that's even better is doing one-to-many. And what I mean by that is like you could do a intensive, or you could do like we're going to be going through a complete cohort or a challenge or something over the next 3 months, and that way they will go ahead and stay, right?
Yeah.
You could even offer it as annual now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. What is
Like
the
if you,
annual max?
annual max is 1200. So because it's going to be divided by 12.
Okay. Well, duh. But I thought it might
So
be different. But
that would be like if you were wanting to offer your VIP tier at one, or you could even say your VIP tier is like we're gonna do this cohort, and that normally it's like can be $299 a month, and then you can tell them, but just for this month because we're trying to win school games, or whatever, or for the next 3 months we're offering it for 1200 for the year. And then you immediately, like as soon as you get them in as annual, you don't have to worry about the if they're staying or not.
so, quick question: if you charge 1,200, does it count for 1,200, or does it only count for 300?
It's 1200 divided by 100, so it's going to count as the 100 a month.
Okay.
Now, if you charge annual and it's 2000, no problem. It's still going to only be 100 a month. Like that's the maximum. So the reason why you wouldn't want to do it where it's like your offer is 100 a month and then you go, well, for annual, it's only 800. Well, now it's 800 divided by 12. So you didn't get the full 100 MRR.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. So it changes the numbers, but that's just that's the basic formula, and then you have to add more details as you go too. You know.
Yeah. And then you got to take into consideration for churn and all that stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. I like the idea of doing like a 3-month long like cohort, just because you know that they're going to stick maybe a little bit better because you know we did part 1 this month and the next month we're doing this part, so you need to be here. Just maybe reduces that churn a little bit.
Yeah, and the other part of that is like some people go, well, they paid for the full year. Well, you can tell them like the cohort itself costs 1200, right? Because there's plenty of those kinds of things. Like there, I've gotten even group coaching, you know, from people, and it was like a 3-month long thing, and it was 1200, or it was not even just 1200. Sometimes it has been 1500. I've paid 1600 before for group coaching.
A lot more than that.
Yeah, like, and then I've had ones where I've paid like a lot more. I've paid like 10 grand for a 3-month thing.
I think you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what people will pay.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so it's like it doesn't matter what they'll pay for that cohort, because then and you're like, well, what do they do with the rest of the year? You can be like, well, they're in the community for the rest of the year for still getting support, right? Or they still can. You could do like a monthly call where you guys just do check-in things, right? So they're still getting value out of being in the community for the whole year. They don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that you have to run that cohort for 12 months.
Especially when you say like when you do your VIP tier and you say it's everything included in premium, and so they do that really intensive thing, and then they still get everything in premium, which is like the monthly whatever, which is cool, and then whatever else you want to do. But you probably want to do something kind of sustainable, like.
Yeah. I mean, do something that's not going to... That's why I don't want to do one-on-ones. That's why I would say see if you can do it in a way where more people can be in your access, you know? You don't have to choose to spend your one-on-one time, and then if you needed 100 people, imagine you have to talk to 100 people one-on-one. Like, that shouldn't be the reason why you secure. You could do, like... You could even create a special course that comes out, right? Mm-hmm. You spend the time to make the course, and that course is released only to VIP members, right?
Yeah.
Or make the course live with them. There's all those options.
That might be the better way to do it. Making the course with them.
Yep, especially because they can ask questions. Because that might even be, and this is where it's like even with people that are creating school communities and stuff, and they're like, well, do I need to have everything ready? Well, you can. It's just in the way that you word it, right? You could have them join, and you say we're going to create it together. But it's also you want to join while there's not 1,000 people in my community. Because if you're joining and you're asking questions and you're getting help, then that means that you're pretty much getting like more exclusive access because I'm not having to take care of the 1,000 people. I can actually focus in on you.
Exactly.
So that's the same with creating your course. It's like you guys want to be a part of the time when we create the course, not the person watching the course on replay necessarily. So it's like there's more incentive to be there live because then you'll get your personal questions answered and it becomes part of the curriculum.
A round of applause.
Yay! Is there any more questions before we end our Monday morning show?
No questions. She's still thinking about what she would charge $100 for, but maybe we can chat about that later. Awesome.
Alrighty. That'll
This
be
has been
fun.
This has been a fun day. What are we doing
Yes,
tomorrow?
tomorrow we have Arden coming on with us, and we're going to talk about onboarding. So one thing I was going to say is if somebody is wanting to join us live and they have something they'd like to talk about, and it's communities, like specific to communities, something that everybody could benefit from, I think we have no problem bringing you up, even if we've already talked about it. So what I mean by that is like tomorrow we're going to talk to Arden, and it's going to be Arden's perspective on what he thinks you need for onboarding, like what he would work with his clients. You might have a totally different way of doing onboarding, and that's not like to diss Arden, and his isn't like saying yours isn't the right way, because there's so many different right ways to do it. So tomorrow we're going to talk to Arden about what his way of doing it is and how that looks. And so if you like it, great. If you have another way that you do it, let us know. We'll bring you up on here too, and we'll talk about that way, because I like to have as many options as possible, because it would be, just as an example, right? I was able to do today's talk, right, Eric?
Mm-hmm.
And just make it up as we're talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all stuff that I know, and it's just easy for me to talk about that way. But you operate in a different way, and it would be better for you to have questions, right?
Yeah, I'd rather you just ask me stuff.
Right. So there's not one right way of doing this. There's just different ways of doing it, and allowing people to have the option rather than saying, hey, you conform to my way. I mean, that if we had to all conform to one person's way of doing it, I think there would be a lot of people that just don't. Right?
Yeah. And that's the beauty of school. You know, we can do it however we like.
Yep. Well, that is it, I think, if that
Yep.
was the last one. So, it's March 30th. Tomorrow's March 31st. I think at the end of this week, we're going to talk about goals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a lot of awesome things planned for this week.
Yeah. So, lots of things, because we're getting into quarter 2 now, and so we just need to finish off, maybe do some reflection on like how did quarter 1 go for you, what did you learn from it, where do you want to go next, and that way you're prepared for when we talk about like making goals for the next one. So
Perfect.
all right,
Awesome, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
bye.
Bye.